I'm getting nervous again.
Nervous.
I don't know. Maybe it's
just
because
me.
It's the question that we have. Oh my goodness. Holy smokes. All right. Well, let's get this started. It's time to get shaken or stirred today. People, let's get your glasses of alcohol, mocktail, cocktail, whatever it is. It's time to get this party started. All right.
Hi, beautiful people. This is Ozzy.
It's Ellum here.
Hi, Ellum. So what are we drinking today, Ellum?
Today, I actually went and picked up a membership of wine, and it's our white wine. So we're drinking that today. It's a Chardonnay. What do you think of it?
It's light. I like it a lot,
Cheers.
actually. Salud.
And to be clear, we already had a full bottle of sake already. So
Okay,
today,
it was a nice little cute bottle. Not all. Don't make it seem like we're like, and it was amongst 3 people.
That is
Anyways.
true. That is true. That is true.
All right. On today's topic,
Yes.
tell me more about it. What are we discussing?
It's going to be a really good one. I think a lot of our audience members have been asking us questions, providing feedback, and thank you to all those who have been listening in. And the question that a lot of folks had was, why are we doing this? Like, what is this? What's the point?
What's the point?
Like, what's the purpose
Why
of
do
this?
we care?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to throw it out to you first, Ozzy. Why are we doing this? Why do we care?
Well, I care, right? Because I feel like navigating through life has not been easy. And I thankfully had several coaches, mentors through, I think starting from middle school, high school, college, after college. Like there has been always someone to tell me or guide me or show me the ways because I couldn't do it all alone, right? So being able to have a platform and share my story, my experience, and hopefully others are able to leverage it in any way that they want, right? Like that's my takeaway, being able to like at least provide or share how to navigate through this complicated ass life.
No, it is complicated. It is complicated.
Yeah. But you picked me to join this podcast. Like I was just, living my life. And then you approached me. Like, I want to know what inspired you to go, Ozzy, like, are you down to do this with me? Like, what motivated you to want to do this?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think a part of it is that, I don't know, maybe it was after I came back from New York. Maybe that's a little bit of it, where I noticed a lot of people picked up hobbies or had a bunch of different things outside of work. And now post-pandemic, going back into work, I'm a little, I don't know, it's a routine at this point. And I do love what I do, let's be clear. I think I really enjoy that, but I wanted something different, so a new little side project. And in terms of why I ended up choosing you, I was thinking about, I don't know, how many years of friendship do we have right now?
Well, we first met in 2014,
right?
But our friendship didn't start till way after that.
Yeah, true. So maybe we're like,
I don't know. I lost count.
I know. But that means that we have a good relationship. I think through all out of those times, I think I've learned how so much from you, right? And just we have 2 different personalities, so many different experiences. But as a friend, I really value your perspectives that we've shared all throughout that time period. And when I thought about it, I was like, man, we have very interesting, deep conversations. And I think when I thought about it, if I were younger, I would have liked to hear these 2 different perspectives. And so kind of to your point of why, I agree with the why right there. And so that's kind of why I thought, Ozzy would be perfect. He's outgoing. He has different experiences. He's very positive. He knows what he wants, right? And I think the people would also value that perspective, not just my own. So I thought it would be a really nice spin on the both of us.
That's so interesting. The fact that you think I'm outgoing.
Which goes into impressions, eh?
Yeah. Because I feel like, I don't know, what impression did I give you back in 2014 when we were just interns?
I mean, let's be clear. I think to me, when we were talking recently, we were like, yeah, you tend to keep your friend circle small and tight. And I think like when I think about it back then, that's why we probably weren't friends like right off the bat, right?
For sure.
It was very cordial. Again, for the people like and then the audience, we met at work. We were interns together and like we've somehow made our way to where we are today. But definitely those initial impressions, I was like, he's very quiet, like introverted is what it looked like, but he was well put together is what I saw. And we just ended up connecting. I don't even know the moment that we connected, to be honest.
Probably over drinks.
Is that surprising at all?
I'm not surprised. And that, thinking, just reflecting on how you initially, the impression that I first gave you and the impression that you just described me as now, like it's a whole 180. Like, I totally recognize that I used to be someone who hated public speaking, who hated getting in front of a room, being able to, speak from my diaphragm. And that was all thanks to like the coaching and training that I received, right? Because going back to the last episode, I had a goal in mind. I knew that I want to be successful. It was within me, and I knew that I was going to do anything that it took to get to that success, and that success was where I am today. I feel like living my current life, and we could go into those details at another time, but I did not let the fact that I was an introvert get in the way from my success. And I think the training that I received allowed me to then put myself in uncomfortable situations. And I'm a salesperson, right?
Yeah.
Like, what introvert, I don't know, is a salesperson? Like, you can't have fear sitting in a sales pitch whatsoever, or else someone's not going to buy whatever you're selling.
That's true. That's
and
very
so,
true.
I don't know. I feel like I've come a long way.
I think you have too. I know it went high pitched, but it's not a confusion. I feel very strongly that we all changed, and I feel like I've also changed, right?
Yeah.
I wonder what was your take on me when you first met me, because I was not like this when you first met me.
Let's see. I feel like there was one person who kind of brought you and I together, and that was definitely during like happy hour events, like never during the workday, because like to your point, I just kept to myself, and I didn't want. I'm not as open maybe back at that point in my time. I was just, I'm here for work, I'm here to learn, I'm here to get trained, I'm here to do what I need to do in order to achieve what I need to achieve, and that was that.
Yeah.
And I mean, even today, I don't let people easily into my life, but I don't know what was that turning point with you, because I feel like it was at least 3 years after our internship that we became friends. So it took us a while to develop that friendship, and I don't know what it was the moment that was like, we need to be friends. Do you recall it?
No, I don't even remember. I do think it was like an all of a sudden situation.
Yeah.
I can't even recall the moment. I mean, are there many stories of us going out? Absolutely, for sure. But I don't know what that moment was.
Yeah. But my first impression of you, I mean, you were someone who was very polite, kind, and you were there to do the work, and you cared about what you were doing, right? Mm. And now I see you like this badass bitch, really. You're like over here running a whole org, directing people, telling them what to do. I'm like, that's my friend. That's my friend. It's just like the moment of like pride of being able to see you become this powerful, amazing woman that you are today, that back then I was like, we're just going for drinks.
I know. What are we doing?
Take us seriously. Like, no one's gonna take us seriously 10 years ago, and now I'm like, this is Alan Cook.
Aw, that warmed my heart.
Aww.
Well, we should cheers to that. That was so cute. I'm trying to think, like, for myself, is that my impression of myself? I don't even know. I do think that that's what I want to try to emulate, but when you say, like, you're proud, I think it touches my heart. Because I don't think I'm there yet.
What do you mean?
Like
what do you think is the impression that you give off?
I don't know. I don't know. Oh my God. So much to unpack. I think that I lean introverted for sure. But then out in the world has kind of got me to be extroverted. I think I've had a lot of good mentors along the journey that helped bring that out in me. Because again, I'm going to throw back, my background. As a Korean American, as an immigrant, it's always like abiding by everything and going and doing what you're told so that you don't need to go against the grain. You're doing everything the right direction. And so in order for you to do that, what are you supposed to do? Stay quiet, just do the job, and then leave. So when you were saying like that's kind of what you were doing early on, I mean, that's what I was trying to do. I think what I've learned over the past couple of years is that if you want more, you need to get out and go after more. And so even with this podcast, I mean, I was like, I think there's so much that we need to unpack that the world, many others may have already touched it. And let's be clear, we're both growing and learning as we're doing this. There's many times we're going to probably be wrong and ignorant, but our perspectives are still valid in that moment. Our feelings are valid in that moment. And I wanted to kind of save it, right? And keep a time vault almost for us to reflect and see the progression and how we've grown.
What kind of hit home for me at that when you were describing how you've learned over time is that very early on we have to keep our heads down, and it's one, sure, maybe I accepted that because it was culturally ingrained in me growing up, but also at the same time I feel like it was okay and acceptable because in corporate America, someone who's fresh out of college, put your head down, like learn and like observe. And
but was really it the boomers telling us
that? it was, but that got me to where I am today though.
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna just talk out of my ass in a meeting and hope it lands somewhere. No, like I'm going to listen, observe, and then give my 2 cents. But I feel like that took several years, starting from an intern to an analyst to then a consultant. Like it takes time to learn and progress. It just doesn't happen overnight.
Do you think that you had people around you to help?
Oh, for sure.
Because you also mentioned training. So was it the 50-50 split there? Or is it like, I don't know what the percentages are, 33, 33, 33 against, I don't know, this assumption that it was self-created, like self-generated. You went out and went creating for it because you knew that that's what you needed to do.
It was definitely training. I mean, I don't know what I don't know. I had to take feedback. I had to be open to the feedback. And grow from there, right? Because I can't, at that point, starting in my career, I can't lean on my parents. Like I can't ask them, what do I do? What do I say? How do I not? Like, no, like none of that is, I don't have those resources at home. So yes, I'm going to listen to those resources when they're given to me at work. So I think that definitely helped me make me uncomfortable in the work setting, but that uncomfortness led to me learning and growing just because I wasn't used to like public speaking or being in a meeting, and like it was just, I'm an awkward person at times.
But awkwardly funny.
No, I'm just funny now, okay?
A comedian at heart, I swear.
But I feel like that has, now thinking back then to now, right? Like now when I'm open to feedback, but I'm very now much more confident in myself of like, do I listen to the feedback? Do I take in the feedback? Or do I just dismiss the feedback? I feel like I'm now in that position to be able to really, I'm much more self-assured of myself to be able to want to take your feedback.
Interesting. I feel like feedback is another can of worms. I've learned that in the world, not everyone understands the feedback the same or like receives feedback the same.
Yeah.
And I think it comes back to the point that everyone grew up a specific way. They were coached and trained a specific way. I think you and I come from the same cut from Wells Fargo and that training and the foundations that we have. But man, I'm not gonna lie. Working and getting into my career as it stands today, like, man, there is such a wide range of different perspectives as it relates to feedback. But it's great that you were able to find confidence and have the ability to know and accept or dismiss. Because I think when you're early on, I think the intent, well, for me personally, I was like, let me take it all in.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like a little sulking, right? I'm like, oh, what? Like, I'm a perfect child. Like, I'm a perfect student. Like, I've never gotten, I don't know, like a fail in my life. And all of a sudden I'm told, you're not trying hard enough. And I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm not trying hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what the heck, dude?
Yeah.
Like,
I think coaching is very important, or having at least a mentor or someone to guide you down a path that you acknowledge you want to take. Because then I'm thinking back to high school and college when you had to do presentations in front of a classroom setting.
yeah.
I literally stuttered through those presentations. I did not like getting in front of a classroom and speaking and giving whatever presentation I had to give. It was just not my thing. But now I'm like, let's do it. Let's go. Like, I'm ready to get in front of a boardroom and speak. And I don't know what changed.
Let's be clear. You're in front of people that we don't even know outside now, talking and sharing your perspectives now.
Yeah,
is that scary?
Crazy. Yes and no. I feel like yes, it's scary because I acknowledge that it's going out into the public, but no, because I feel like I'm speaking with you into a mic.
We're not standing in front of people.
No, it's so different. But I'm trying to think back to what was my turning point? Where was that moment where I was like, I'm confident, I got my shit together, I am no longer scared. I don't recall that moment.
Do you feel like it's been a long time though? Like, has it been a minute, or is it like recent happening, or like 5-6 years ago? You know, like it's, you know, the time bounds, right? Was it recent, old, or no? You have no clue.
I think there's a common thread now that you're pointing it out, and I'm trying to reflect. It was probably during or after me working on myself, going to therapy. I think I really had to work my inner thoughts, my inner demons, my inner insecurities, to then acknowledge that I had all these, I don't know what to call them, all these, like, they're not issues, they're
just things.
Yeah, they're just part of me and what came with me, right? And just being able to recognize that, acknowledge it, give it its respect, and then not letting that hold me down.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's me who allows whatever situation to hold me down or not hold me down. And I feel like I'm in a position where I acknowledge that sense of power, and honestly, I'm not gonna let anything to hold me down. I'm just happy, I guess.
Oh, man, ain't nobody gonna complain with that.
No, not at all. It's just so interesting because I never thought this very awkward, introverted high school, college person could feel now so outspoken. I didn't see that in my future self if I was back in my high school or college days.
Yeah, I mean, if I reflect, I agree. I don't think I ever thought that. But there was a random turning point where I felt very confident that this is where I want to be. Like, I want to see, like, I don't know what else is in store for me, but I feel like there's so much more that I would like to do, and more to share out on the awareness aspect. Because again, like, when I think about when I was a child, we didn't have technology. Like, are you freaking kidding me? No. Like, there were no resources, nothing. And so at least now there's YouTube, there's Spotify, there's different ways, if you really go after it, many ways, and for you to like obtain the knowledge. And so I think for me, this is like one of the reasons why I think it's so powerful. Like, we can just talk and someone somewhere may resonate. Maybe they completely disagree, but hey, we gave it our best shot to share our perspectives around a topic. And at the end of the day, whether you feel shaken, whether you feel stirred, That's kind of the point. I want you to leave the conversation feeling some kind of way. Like literally, truly, when we say that, that's what I mean when we say that. I don't know about you.
Yeah, to you. I haven't wanted to define this. It's just more about an emotional feeling of defining shaken or stirred. Like, what does it mean? And I almost don't want to define that for the audience.
Same.
It's like, it's an emotion.
Right.
Right? It's just something that when you ask me that question, when we try to wrap up our thoughts here, right? Did this conversation make me feel stirred or shaken? Like, what does that mean for me? I don't know. It's more of an emotion than
in that moment
than a concrete definition.
I agree.
Because emotions aren't so well defined at times. I feel like it just sparks.
yeah. And maybe one day your definition was one way, and then the next it's completely different. Because again, as you're talking about the emotions, it is what is how you feel that moment.
Mm-hmm. So are you feeling shaken? Are you feeling stirred today?
Oh goodness. I literally was thinking that as we were talking. I was like, dude, what am I feeling today? I mean, I think I'm feeling stirred, but I'm not sure why. Cause I don't know. Today I feel like shaken means like I'm a little like all over the place, but I'm not feeling shaken. I do feel stirred. I think we're stirring the pot of maybe all of the different ways that I felt from an impression standpoint of you and how that's evolved. And even just thinking about why we're doing this, there's a lot to unpack for why we decided, right? And I think I was super grateful that you were willing and wanting to be a part of the journey. Because it's not an easy task, right? And I think that this is just the beginning of something amazing, which makes me feel a little bit stirred in like bubbly feelings. Maybe like it's warm and touchy.
A glass of champagne,
yeah.
Still, but still bubbly.
Yeah, it sounds like we're gonna have to have one of those next.
I'm feeling like a glass of champagne then. If
we're throwing drinks in. We're shaking this up.
Literally, well, you can't shake champagne, but I feel like I feel like a flute of champagne, I guess, because I don't feel shaken or stirred, but I do feel as though I am in a moment where there's just new bubbles, if you will, generating, coming up to the surface, and just letting
just airing it
out, right? I feel like that is my current feeling towards this conversation. I feel like it's a new venture for me because it's me sharing my thoughts, my opinions, my voice, and sometimes I think to myself, I'm like, why does that even matter? Like, do I want to listen to Ozzy? Like, why, like, sometimes I'm like, I'm just being hard on myself at times, but that is me pushing myself to be vulnerable, uncomfortable, because I feel like it has been those moments that has really pushed me over to continue growing and learning. And that's my goal in life. And so I'm just taking it as it is. I'm going to learn from it and we'll see where it goes. So feeling like a glass of champagne right now.
All right.
All right, beautiful people. So with that, we hope you feel a little shaken, a little stirred. Maybe you're feeling like a glass of champagne or whatever, really. A mocktail, if you will. But join us next time. Bye, beautiful people.
Bye. Catch us on the next episode.